Good evening, YouTube. I am going to be reviewing a deck called Knight of the Ninja. It is a Planechase 2012 deck, brand new as of this Friday. And I'm going to go through all the different cards and just talk about them a little bit. Hopefully you will learn something, and hopefully you'll be inspired to consider playing Planechase 2012 and possibly the Knight of the Ninja deck. Okay, the box comes with a strategy guide and some rules that might be helpful to you. It comes with a special Planechase die, which you can see right here. It doesn't have anything on it except for Chaos and Planeswalk, which makes sense once you know the rules. Basically, you're going through your ordinary game of Magic, but there's an additional card in play at every moment that is a certain plane, and the plane has certain rules to it. For example, of the 10 plane cards that each deck comes with, this one is called Takenuma, and it's going to basically give you card advantage to when your creatures leave the battlefield. Pretty cool art. That is some incredibly great art right there. Bloodhill Bastion, really intriguing. Reminds me of the old Amy Weber art. I'm not sure what else Mark Heiser's done, but this is a cool plane. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield, it gains double strike and haste till the end of the turn. Nasty ability. Double strike is tough, and haste, of course, just makes every creature that comes into play threatening from the moment they drop. In a deck like Knight of the Ninja that has a lot of ninjas popping in and out, you'll probably find a lot of use for this ability. Gavany from Innistrad gives all your creatures vigilance. That's just a defensive ability, enjoy, use that. Glen Elendra is really neat art also, just is gorgeous. At the end of combat, you exchange control of target creature you control that dealt combat damage to a player this combat and target creature that player controls. If you figure all that out, what it really means is you're swapping creatures with your opponents, and that can have just some super fun effects in this game. Karasha Foothills is an interesting card that basically, if you've got multiple opponents in this game, if I hit one player with a creature, I can generate tokens and hit the other players with a duplicate of that creature at the same time. It's just kind of a neat way of sort of cloning your stuff, and it's a temporary ability, but it'll make for some fun combat. You're just going to become, a force for offense at that point in time. Norn's Dominion, really neat. When it disappears, every non-land permanent is going to disappear, except for ones that you're dropping fate counters on every turn. So slowly you're going to be able to build your defense up, but Norn's Dominion could really clear the board quickly if somebody gets away from this plane. Quicksilver Sea, great art again. When you planeswalk here, you get to scry, and at the beginning of your upkeep, you're basically going to be able to manipulate your deck and put different cards on the top that are going to be helpful to you. Zephyr Maze gives flying creatures bonuses, and non-flying creatures don't get bonuses, so make sure your deck has flyers in it. Interplanar Tunnel is not a plane, it's a phenomenon. It's of the 10 planar cards, it's one of the 2 phenomenons you get. When you encounter this thing, basically you're going to draw 5 cards off your planar deck, and you're going to choose one to put on the top. So next time you get to choose a plane, you're going to know exactly which one it is. It's a neat ability. It's one of the only ways to control planes in this game, because planes are basically random otherwise. Morphic Tide, again, beautiful art. They've just done such a great job with this set. When you encounter Morphic Tide, each player shuffles all permanents they own in their library. They basically take everything off the board, put it in their library, and pull the same number of things out and put them into play in various orders to allow you to just switch out your entire game. So, if you had 10 permanents of one kind, after this card comes into play, you got 10 permanents of a different kind into play. Have fun with this one. It's totally wacky. Okay, on to the cards. I think the Knight of the Ninja deck, it's safe to say, is really not a beginning deck. I really don't encourage you, if you're a new player, to buy this one. But once you've played through it a few times, I think whoever gets into this deck is going to find it is an incredibly tricky and deep deck. You're going to be a force to be reckoned with. People are going to be scared of your deck at every moment in time because they just won't know what's coming at you. Here's a Tormented Soul, one of the best commons ever made, in my opinion. It's a 1-drop that's unblockable. who cares that it can't block? You just use this guy to, pop people in the eye. Augury Owl allows you to scry stuff, and he flies, so he's a chunk blocker. But he allows you to manipulate your deck. Skull Snatcher has ninjutsu. He's a rat ninja. This is a ninja deck, right? Whenever the ninjas attack other players, if they get through, they're going to do special abilities. Okay, so you can drop things in to play using ninjutsu, and then if the creature got through, then suddenly it's going to do certain things. This guy allows people to exile stuff from their graveyard. Inkfathom Witch is a nasty creature. Okay, it's a 1/1. It costs 2, and he has fear. So alone, he's a decent creature, but each unblocked creature becomes a 4/1 if you spend 4 mana. So presumably the Inkfathom Witch or some other creature or any other creature you have that gets through is going to just become huge if you happen to have 4 mana. Definitely a threat. Baleful Strix. My gosh, what can we say about this card? First of all, the art is beautiful. Look at this stuff. This is great. Okay, look at that thing. I think the Baleful Strix is probably going to be one of the most talked about cards from the Planechase 2012 series. I think we're going to see this card in many formats in the future. It costs 2 mana. It's a 1/1. It flies. It has Death Touch, and it's a cantrip, so it replaces itself in your deck. It's basically a great flying wall that can hit people for 1, and it replaces itself. So why would you not want 4 of these in any blue-black deck? I don't know. Good card. Get your hands on these. They are going to go up in value. They're going to be hard to find, I promise you. Dimir Infiltrator is unblockable. He's a 1/3. He costs 2. So that's really good for that amount of mana. But he's also got the ability to transmute, so you can turn him into another creature if you decide that he's really not what you're looking for at any given moment in time. With the unblockability of this guy, potentially you can swap him out for a ninja too. So that's how this deck is going to be working. The Infiltrator gets in, then he turns into a ninja, and then your opponents are very unhappy. Excuse me. The Mistblade Shinobi. When he gets through, he's a ninja. You get to return target creature to that player's hand. Walker of Secret Ways has ninjutsu as well, and you get to look at somebody's hand, which is fine. Nothing great there, except that you get to return target ninja to owner's hand. So this allows you to bounce your ninjas back to your hand, reuse them again, and keep surprising your opponents with ninjas. Wall of Frost is just solid defense. It just slows your opponents down. Cadaver Imp gets you stuff out of your graveyard if you really need a card. Here you go, he's a flyer, so for 3 mana, no big deal. You get a decent creature that flies, and he gets you stuff that you might need. Liliana Spectre here enters the battlefield. Each opponent discards a card. That's kind of fun. Ninja of the Deep Hours. When this guy gets through, you get to draw a card. Sakashima Student, a lot of people talk about this card. He's basically a ninja that's a clone. So you drop him out, and for 2 mana, you get to have a clone when you get through with an opponent. Pretty neat card there. You'll have a lot of fun with that. Glen Elendra's Liege. I can't believe this card's even in print. He gives all blue creatures +1/+1 and all black creatures +1/+1. He's a 2/3 flyer, and he only costs 4 mana. That is a quality rare right there. I assume it's a reprint from an earlier set. I'm not sure which one. Throat Slitter deals combat damage to a player, and you get to destroy a target creature that player controls. So, very cool. Ninja. Haiguri of the Still Wind is a legend. You can use him as a commander, of course. And when he deals combat damage, you basically get to search your library for a ninja and put it into your hand. You can also make another ninja unblockable. So he's going to let your other ninjas get through, and he's going to let you pull ninjas into your hand. He's a powerful guy. This guy is a ninja that basically forces your opponent to draw cards, discard cards. Dark Hatchling pops into play and destroys an opponent's creature. For 6 mana, he's a 3/3 flyer. So that's a good card right there. That will allow you to deal some damage to your enemy creatures. Ink Eyes is a terribly formidable legend. He's a rat ninja, and he is going to allow you to take your opponent's cards out of their graveyards, drop them into play, and use them against them. And he regenerates. He's a 5/4. Okay, on to Vela the Nightclad. This is a legend. You could use her as a commander, but in a ninja deck, this creature is nasty. She gives all your creatures Intimidate. so your ninjas are going to be able to get through and do their fancy stuff. Whenever another creature leaves the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life. So when you're flashing creatures in and out using ninjutsu, your opponents are going to take damage. And she herself has Intimidate, so she's just going to be smacking people in the face left and right. Very good card for 4 mana, obviously, or 6 mana, sorry. Obviously, there's a reason she's a mythic. Silent Blade Oni, Ninja Demon, basically allows you to, if you get through with him, he's a 6/5, he's going to allow you to cast your opponent's cards from their hand, which is pretty cool too. That's like a word of command ability on a ninja. Here's some lands. I'm not going to go through them all with you, but you have a lot of good dual lands here. They're all going to give you different kinds of mana, or there'll be fetch lands that allow you to pull cards into play. Pretty good art on these cards. I'm not sure what set these originally came from, but they certainly work well here. Here's some artifacts. The Sai of the Shinobi is an equipment that basically attaches itself for free to any new creature that comes out. So when your ninjas pop into play, they can get the Sai on them and do an extra bit of damage here. Fractured Power Stone allows you to roll the planar die an extra time each turn. Pretty fun. Quiet as Spike is a really great rare. If it gets through, it allows you to take away half of your opponent's life. That's just a very powerful artifact. Doesn't cost a lot either, so it's a pretty threatening piece of equipment. Whisper Silk Cloak makes your ninjas unblockable, and they have Shroud. And then Assassinates, just get rid of enemy creatures. Cancel, there's one counterspell here, just so your opponent always has that question in their mind, can this guy counter my stuff? Concentrate allows you to draw some cards, and then the Farsight Mask allows you to get some benefit if you're getting beat up on. You get some cards. Folks, this deck I think is going to be, of the 4 of the series, this one alone is going to be the one to beat. When people are playing Night of the Ninja, you know, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with, and that's just all there is to it. So enjoy, have fun with this deck, and again, if you're a new player, I don't recommend it right away, but you know, maybe you can prove me wrong.